Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Small Business Big Stories podcast. On this episode, I have the incredible pleasure of chatting with the owner of 925 Wellbeing, a fitness and wellness brand based out of Mississauga. Now, this guy takes risk taking to a whole new level. Even just listening to his story strangely took me outside of my comfort zone, but also inspired me as well. From quitting his full time job to start 925, to recently taking a social media hiatus to work on himself and his well being, he is the epitome of leading by example. Oftentimes, whether you are an entrepreneurship in the health and wellness industry or any other industry for that matter, you really spend a lot of time focusing in on crafting your service and giving to others. And sometimes that means putting yourself on the back burner. But what Rocky talks about is taking that accountability and that ownership and really understanding that if you don't take care of yourself, you can't provide the best service. You can't give your best self to the people that you're trying to serve. So grab a snack, listen in, put those headphones in. Trust me, guys, you're going to love this one. Hey, Rocky, so nice to have you on. How you doing today?
I'm doing so good, Brittany. So nice to see you. I haven't seen you in real life in a while, so
I
it's really
know.
nice to be even just talking to you.
Absolutely. And I love where you are at right now. It's your facility there, and I love it. You're repping the brand, and it looks great. You're ready
Yeah,
for
you
these
got it.
doors to open.
I am ready for the doors to open. That's the best way to put it. You're right.
Yeah.
Totally. I think we all are.
Absolutely. You're just manifesting it. You're just like, okay, beginning of June, come a little faster so we know if we can open these doors.
That's right. I want to be the light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. Yeah, really well put. So, for anyone who doesn't know, this is Rocky, and he is the owner and founder of 925 Wellbeing. He has an incredible fitness brand out of Mississauga. He offers, I don't know if there's a program that I haven't seen Rocky offer. He offers like police recruit training. If you're wanting to get into shape before your wedding, he offers a specific customized program for that. If you're just looking to get into shape in general and just get moving, he does an excellent job of bringing community together with his amazing energy. That's the first thing that I noticed about you when we first worked together. And I attended I think it was like during Halloween. Yes.
It was
It
October
was,
31st.
yeah, it was when I was the only one that came dressed up. That was great.
That's right. That's right. You're 80s or 90s? Was it 80s?
It was yeah, it was like
80s
80s
aerobics
close to,
instructor.
yeah,
I loved it. You
exactly.
stood out. I loved
Yeah,
it.
thanks. But yeah, that was the first thing that sort of, I was just like, wow, your energy was just super infectious. And I knew, I was like, I need to be around this guy more. Like I need to be around like what he's sort of like putting together and collaborating and giving to the community. So I just want to say thank you. And it's been so great to work with you and to meet you. And I'm going to sort of pass it over to you, and you just let the people know who you are and how you started and why you started 925 Wellbeing.
Thanks, Brittany. And I just gotta actually say, even before I start, that was like, I just remember like right away, just even the high with you was like, boom, click. She's like, this girl is doing the thing. This girl, I got it. I felt the same way. I was
Yeah,
like, I want to make sure that I stick with this person because she is doing exactly what I want to be doing as well, and we were
nice.
vibing on that same wavelength. So I loved it. Thank you so much for even just showing up that day.
Yeah, absolutely. You're
Um,
welcome.
what we do at 9 to 5, like you said, we just try to I realized I was training, I got into fitness real late in my life. I was 39 years old, and I never done anything with fitness before, and so I wanted to sort of make more time with my kids. And I I pared it down to two things that I wanted to do: maybe write or maybe become a fitness instructor. And I thought those two things would allow me some time for my kids.
Yeah.
That's not the situation, but at the time it felt
We
like,
know better.
right now we know
Yeah.
better. But at the
Yeah.
time it was, it's promoted like, oh man, you can have a lot of time for yourself. You can make your own time, hours, whatever. And so I was working with this other brand that was pretty athletic, and I realized that people who came into do their fitness there. A lot of people, while the program was amazing as an athletic program, there was a lot of people coming in that wasn't ready for that. And it's not that they didn't want to train or that they didn't have time to train or that they didn't have money to train. All those three things they had, which is perfect for
Absolutely.
an
For any
organization.
trainer. Yeah.
Right. But the training wasn't for them, and I would see them spending sort of half the workout doing modifications that I thought were just above walking. It was just like, it was hardly burning any calories, and I felt really bad about that. And
Yeah.
so I realized, I did a lot of research, and I realized, there's ways that a lot of people can train who aren't athletes, and still get a lot out of it. And I think strength training ended up it was like the primary training method that I thought, hey, if you created just a strength training program primarily, a lot of people can get results from that without having to be athletic, even if they have knee problems, even if they have back problems, even if they're a little bit older and they're not really geared up for tuck jumps or burpees or all that stuff. So that's kind of that's sort of what I thought. There was room that if I could create a solution for that, there was
Yes.
room that I could actually break into the industry with that. And so that's kind of how 9 to 5 got started. Apart from the fact that COVID happened and we were out of a job and I had to now do something for myself. That was the solution I was trying to fix.
Absolutely. And I really liked what you said because it blends really well with what I'm trying to do as well with my brand, is to really allow people a welcoming and informed entrance into the fitness world or into well-being in general. I think with social media and media in general, uh, oftentimes fitness can get, or well-being can get overcomplicated, and you can get into a situation where you sign up for this program and you haven't moved in a while, or you haven't moved in a certain way, just like you encountered at the facility that you worked at. They weren't quite ready for that level of training yet, but they could definitely work their way up to that, and you wanted to be like the one to help them work their way up. And that's sort of where I'm coming from as well, where it's like I want to help people, first of all, move and move consistently, but move safely and what makes sense to their life. Like, not everybody wants to be an athlete, or not everybody wants to spend, a workout burning 800 calories. They just want to be able to lift their kids or their grandkids off the ground without feeling back pain, or, be able to walk up some stairs without feeling out of breath. So I
That's right.
think, yeah, I think when we break it down and, give that foundational knowledge and that base, you make people feel, and I'm sure you've seen it, you make people feel a world of a difference when you make them realize that, like, they don't have to do all these complex exercises that they're shown on social media or media in order for them to be active and in order for them to burn the calories that they want to, or attain any kind of life goal that they're wanting to shoot for.
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
And you do a really, really good job with your kettlebell. I actually, obviously, I follow you,
Yes.
and I saw when you started to transition into the kettlebell workout, and I got a little jealous because, like you said, like there's a bunch of stuff that I'm doing, and I was like, that's a market I could have, that was a market I could have done. And I was like, she got it. All right, she took it. She
But
got it. She
honestly,
got it.
I mean, you know what? We often say, or we often hear, like, oh, a lot of people will say, and people that will be listening to this podcast as well will think like, well, you know what? I don't want to get into this field because it's overly saturated, whatever field it may be. And the honest truth is that every field is saturated. Like, whether you want to be a real estate agent or a photographer or a fitness trainer, but what sets you apart is you. So if you want to do a kettlebell course, do it. And what's going to make it different is you and your approach, which is different to mine,
Yeah,
right?
for
So
sure.
yeah, I
I
would
love the
definitely
way you do it.
suggest. Yeah, thanks. I
Yeah, for sure.
appreciate it. Kettlebell has become a piece of equipment and just a way of moving for me that just clicks. Like, it just makes so much sense in terms of
Okay.
strength and conditioning training
Right.
all into one. Like, a lot of people are looking for a way to have a more efficient, and especially at this time, a convenient, accessible workout, right? some people, and I have clients like this, where some people don't want to have to buy all of this equipment, because then they're like, I'm living in a Toronto condo. I don't have
Right.
room to store all of this equipment. So if they can get in a great workout where they can use and work on their strength and conditioning with a smaller implement, then why not?
You
You
nailed it.
know?
I love it. Yeah, I love it. It's
Yeah.
so diverse. The
Yeah.
kettlebell.
Yeah, it's something that I'm really delving into. I'm actually competing this weekend in a kettlebell competition. So yeah, it's been a whole world
Did
that I've been introduced to.
Yeah, okay. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'll be keeping
Yeah,
tuned.
yeah, it's great. Everything is like, you do like a video submission, so you don't actually,
Yeah,
well, you have the option of like, you can compete in front of judges, but it's all virtual, or you can just do a video submission. But like I said, there's a community, a whole world of athletes that I've just been just so appreciative of being introduced to. And this world of
right.
kettlebell is nothing that I've ever experienced before. Like, the more I delve into fitness and
Yeah,
well-being, the more I'm sort of finding another layer of why I'm so passionate about this industry.
love it. Love it.
What was your sort of first interaction with fitness, or wanting to, something that sort of piqued your interest, where you were just like, maybe this is something that I want to pursue, not just as a personal goal, not just for you, getting fit, but for you to be like, I think this could be something that I'd be good at and I'd want to offer a service with. Like, when did that start? I know you said you started off in the field in your late 30s. So what was sort of like the light bulb moment where you were just like, okay, I'm going to do this instead of writing?
So I tried copywriting for a while, and
Yeah,
that was pretty good. I just felt like it was gonna take even longer to break into, and so I felt like I was running out of time. But I think the thing with fitness was, and it worked really nicely actually. A couple of things, but once I signed up for the course, you know how sort of expensive it is, and it was expensive for me. That was expensive. It was, I think it was,
absolutely.
around $700 after everything, CPR, everything, books, test,
Yes.
everything. And so once I committed that much money, it was almost like now you have to see it through. And
Absolutely.
so, right, so the way that psychology is intended to work, it worked for
Yeah.
me. So I was like, I was like, oh man, maybe not. But I said, I already put the money in. Let me just see it through. And
Right.
so once I passed the test and everything like that, once I got my certified as a fitness trainer,
Yes.
um, I really started to listen to a lot of motivational speakers. Initially, one of the best talks I had was, I don't know if you've ever heard this one called "Everybody should wear sunscreen" or "Everybody wears sunscreen," and it's just
No.
this great song poem. It was initially a valedictorian speech that turned into like sort of a song, and it's just terrific. But one of the things they talked about was how to melt what you want to do with your like your job with your personal goals, and being able to do that is really really important. And so that was always in the back of my head. Okay, I want to be fit. I don't have time. I'm working every day. I'm working the restaurants. I'm working every day. I don't have time to be fit.
Yeah.
But maybe if I get into the industry, that will help me also become fit. So that was an initial thinking in my head. So I was like, okay,
Makes practical
that's a
sense.
good start, right?
Yeah.
And then once I got certified, I'm listening to some people, and then I heard the burn the boats story, and I don't know if you've heard about that one. It's sort of
No.
like you go to an island, and if you want to take the island, the story is a bit fable, but it could be true.
Yes.
These pirates went to this island. This group of people went to this island, and they wanted to take the island. So the commander, what he did was he burnt the boats, and what that meant was there's people like there's no turning back. We have
Yeah. I
nowhere
was
to
like,
go.
where are they going now?
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. And so for
Yeah.
them, they now have to take the island. That's
Mm,
what they came there to do. And they now have to they now have to fight for everything they got. They burnt the boats.
yes.
They have no point of return, no way of
Yeah.
returning. And
They have
so
to make the island work.
they have to make their goals happen now. They just have to,
Yes. Yes.
or die.
That's a great
And so
story.
yeah, it was. So once I got to understand this, you know, maybe my wife didn't appreciate this as much at the time, but like after I gave my job 2 weeks, I once about 2 weeks after I got my certified, I knew it was going to be tough for me to find a job in this field. Try to balance working both part time. It's going to take forever, so I just
Yes.
quit my job. I gave him 2 weeks and I quit my
Wow.
job. And I'm at this point, I'm a little bit overweight. I think my body fat percentage was around 25. Not in good shape, but I said I'm gonna make this happen, and I had no point of return. And maybe I went to 3 different interviews and you got refused. I remember people just looking at me, and then I went to this one interview, and I think they caught wind of my personality, but then I just remember just being in the interview, just sort of like this. I want to cover my pot belly. But
Uh,
those 2 things was big. Was trying to blend what I want out of life, staying strong, because I'm a new dad at this point.
yeah.
39 years old. I just had my second kid, and my first kid I had at 38. Second
Yeah.
kid at 39. So I'm gonna be 60 when they're in their 20s. I
Mhm.
want to be strong. All right, but I don't have time to work out. I'm not going to be able to work out if I'm still working sort of these jobs. So trying to melt my job and my goals, my lifestyle goals together, and then just burning the bridge. I
Burning
just
the
went right
ship.
into burning, yeah, burning the
Burning
boat,
the
burning
ship.
the boat. Yeah,
Yes. It's
those are kind of 2 things.
you know what? Just hearing you say that made me nervous because I don't know if my bosses will listen to this, but there have been
Oh
moments
no,
where I've just been like, you know what? I'm just gonna give in my notice and I'm just gonna give this all that I got. And I don't think mentally I'm there yet, but I can totally admire the fact. And I know that there's many people out there who have made that jump, and there's many who are listening who are on the brink of it or doing the same thing I'm doing. And every now and then I'll sort of have that thought of like, you know what, I'm just going to do it and I'm going to go all in. And when you have things like a mortgage or like kids, I think things become a little different. And by a little, I mean a lot, because now you're just not considering yourself. You have to
that's right.
consider the well-being of others.
That's right.
So but I've definitely had those thoughts in mind, and just having this quick little talk with you is inspiring me a
Oh
little bit
no.
more.
Oh
Is
no.
I know, oh no, no, but I mean, you make such an incredible point. You have to make life worth it and valuable for you. Like no one else is going to do that for you. And it's amazing that you had that support from your wife, whether she wasn't so supportive then, but I'm sure she's supportive now. But the fact that,
Yeah.
she was just like, you got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. And you made it work because, like you said, you burned that boat and you put everything you had into it. And here you are today, which
Yeah.
is
That's right.
which
That's
is
right. That was
incredible.
a year
It's
and a half ago.
a year and a half ago. Wow.
Yeah. That was a
Oh,
year and a half
wow.
ago.
And what do you like? Do you ever catch yourself sitting there being like, wow, what, like, who am I? Like, how did I make this happen? Do you ever kind of
No,
think of it?
because
No,
no, I don't. I really I
you're
don't
too much of a
when it's a
pro now.
well, not only that, it's a mentality that I'm really like been very serious about. Where I don't feel like I've accomplished anything, and for a second, I don't ever feel like wow, I've accomplished anything, because even right now, even in the pandemic, we could lose it all in a second.
You're
I could have
right.
lost it all a month ago, 2 months, 3, 4, 6 months ago. I could have easily lost it all, like in a heartbeat. In a
Yeah,
heartbeat, it was.
yeah,
I have nothing. I have no, there's. It's all gone for
yeah,
sure. Like a lot of people. So I never ever really stop and smell the roses. I never ever stop and congratulate myself about anything that I've done so far. And it's honestly, it's just a mentality that I take every single day with me, man. Like every tomorrow is like a new day that I have to fight and scratch at 1,000%. or else it's done for, or else it's game over. And
Yeah,
that's sort of how I think about every single day.
you're right. I mean, if the pandemic has taught me anything, it's you got to take things day by day because you never
Yeah, for
know
sure.
what a day is going to bring you. So you got to treat every day, as morbid as it may sound, but you really have to treat every day like it's your last. Like it's like you could lose it all today, or and for some people that might sound extreme or it might sound morbid, but I think it brings that element of drive and really putting things into perspective for you. Like you really have to appreciate every single day that you're given.
That's
And
for sure.
you don't know the uncertainty that lies ahead. Like nobody could have predicted this 2-year worldwide pandemic
No,
and how it would
no,
shut down so many businesses and affect so many people's lives and take from so many people's lives. So, I mean, what I can hear from you is that like, yes, you want to fight every day and every day is a new day, but you got to be appreciative of every single day that we're given too, especially
for
like
sure.
where you're sitting right now, like in your facility with 925 on the wall, wearing a 925 shirt. You worked really hard for that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You gotta keep it. There's a price to pay. There's a price to
Yeah.
pay for that. But yeah, for sure, I gotta work hard. But I never ever leaves my mind that, man, tomorrow, uh, you know, like not even for health reasons, just the way business is going, like, you
Yeah.
know, we could fall easily.
Yeah. And that's just I think the life of an entrepreneur in general,
Probably, yeah,
where it's just like where you just
yeah.
things for one, especially like you're a year and a half into 925. I thought you've been in business like you carry yourself and yeah, I thought the 925 name had been around for quite some time. And speaking of which, where did 925 come from? Like how did you come up with the name?
So yeah, so 9 to 5 is not even a year old. June 2nd, it'll be a year old. Um,
Awesome.
9 to 5.
Anniversary coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up since our first boot camp last year. Even when we weren't allowed to, getting kicked out of parks and stuff like that. 9 to 5 came because I realized that I wanted to go after a professional market of parents and professionals. That was our initial, that was my initial market that I was going after. And so I was going after people that worked 9 to 5.
Yeah,
And so I came up with we came through tried a bunch of names, and I came up with a 9 to 5
love it.
well-being, and I used the blue as sort of coming off of LinkedIn. I wanted to sort of have that business because I think blue is one of those business colors, and so I
Nice,
used the
interesting
blue.
perspective.
Yeah, I think that's sort of one of those, and I think that's why LinkedIn also uses it, because it's the color associated with business.
Yeah.
And then I mixed it with the dark blue. It was initially just like a light blue, and I mixed it with the dark blue because I'm a Blue Jays fan, and then I thought, let me sneak in. I want to sneak in like a Blue Jays look
Your
to it.
Toronto pride.
Yes, yeah, to show
Yeah.
to be so
Interesting
that
you took that approach and sort of honed in on business psychology a little bit. That's
yeah,
smart. Yeah,
yeah.
I
I think
thought, go ahead.
go ahead, sir. No, I thought it was especially when it came to picking a name for the website. I just wanted something that was sort of obvious, and but then not obvious at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
So
hear you. Like you wanted to be creative, but you wanted to sort of make it clear to those who were a part
yes,
of this group, like I am here for you,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and I
And what an amazing market to really focus in on, because as a 9 to 5er, I'm still a 9 to 5er.
nice,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, so sedentary life or just sitting for long periods of time is something that you get very, very used to. But it can be a serious detriment to your overall well being, your overall quality of movement. So to have a service like yours that has really, honed into that niche, so helpful.
Yeah,
And
we
that
try.
Yeah, and that is something that I think I have aspired to do as well, which is take people like myself, obviously of varying age groups and demographics in that way, but those who spend quite a long time in that sort of seated position don't necessarily have maybe the time during their day to move around as much, but making it making fitness and movement accessible to them. So even if it means like standing up for 10 minutes and walking around the office, or like, going outside and walking around the office building, everybody takes a lunch break. So trying to make movement a little bit more integrated into their life, whether it be like a 5-10 minute break, or coming to a class, and making it work for your life. Because I mean, life is super hectic. I mean, as I imagine for you as well. How has life changed for you? But since, let's compare like pre 9 to 5 to current 9 to 5.
Sure. So I think I was actually having this discussion not too long ago with my wife, and before 9 to 5, or before I started to do stuff on my own, um, like I did not negotiate family time. I absolutely, like, uh, I would go to work at 5 in the morning. I started a job where it was started at 9 in the morning, and it
Mm-hmm.
worked till 5 in the afternoon. And I'd come home at like 6:37. And so
Yeah.
that was a huge chunk of the day that I wasn't spending with my family. I made it. So I got it to the point where they allowed me to come in at 5 in the morning. It took some months,
Yes.
and until I started coming at 5 in the morning and leaving at 2 in the afternoon in the middle of jobs, right?
Okay.
Um, and that was because I could not stay away. I didn't want to stay away from my kids. I didn't want to stay away from my wife, my family all day long. So I decided I would wake up 2:30 every morning for years, just to make sure that I get home in time. And so
Gosh, what an ungodly
uh,
hour.
yeah, I did that up until like maybe February, this latest February here.
Yeah, I saw that on
Um,
social media. I was like, you know what? Good for you. I mean, I think the earliest that I'll wake up is for my clients, for my client sessions. And the earliest is like 5 a.m. But like to say, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, good on you.
well, and that was because like I really wanted. That was when they were sleeping, so I
Yeah,
wanted to make sure and get everything done while they were sleeping, and so that way I could come home or be home at a certain time when they were actually up. But now, what's changed a lot is, for right now, we sort of all in the house have to make some sacrifices. Now my kids see me every day and all the time, but I'm usually working. I'm usually at the laptop, even though I'm right in the living room with them. I'm there on the laptop. I don't get to take them out as much, and I don't get to go out as much with the family. There's a lot of holidays that I actually do stay home, unfortunately, because there's an interesting things have happened to me on holidays when everybody is sort of, other fitness owners have sort of taken the day off.
yeah.
um, I've noticed on some of those days that I've been able to get a lot of business on those days. Some of those days have become like turning points, um, by me
Interesting.
just staying home and going after clients on those days. I've gotten, several clients a Father's Day, or Canada Day or something like this. Me staying home, unfortunately. So that's the difference. Is now everybody
Hmm.
has to sacrifice in our house, because
Yes,
I can't put the family first anymore. Now, obviously, the family's first, and this is all for the family. But I
absolutely.
it's a long game that I have to play now. Whereas right now, we have to make some sacrifices when it comes to time with me.
Yeah, and I couldn't relate any more. I mean, aside from, being married and having kids, I'm just the idea of time in general. I've had, family just be like, come on, like just come watch a show or come do this. And I'm like, I've got to do this right now because I'm thinking of the bigger picture, right? I'm thinking
That's right.
of, what I want to accomplish. And you said it really, really well, where, you blend what you're doing with that goal that you have in mind for yourself. And I think honestly, your kids when they get old enough, they will admire the fact that, you know, daddy worked so hard and he's been such an example for us and showing us like what hard work can really do. If that's something that you want, if that's a life that you want to lead, if you want to be an entrepreneur, it can be super rewarding. It does come with a level of sacrifice. But at the end of the day, it's yours. And I think that's one thing that makes me excited as an entrepreneur is that I created this thing and I get to share this on my terms. And yeah, and it's great. And I get to offer this service to people that I've crafted for them and just bring so much value to their life as well. And yeah, it's been a journey, and just hearing from you, it's definitely been, you know, it comes with its ups and downs. And yeah, and speaking of which, and this is something that before we started recording, I wanted to ask you about. You disappeared for a little bit from social media, and
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, and I was kind of like, where did he go? Because I was so used to seeing you on
3, 4 times a day.
yeah, 3, 4 times a day on social media, you know, taking us through your day. And then when I didn't see that, I was like, huh, but that it touches on a good point, but I'll sort of leave that for the end. I'd love to hear from you sort of what you took the time to do and where you went.
Sure. So, I mean, it was, yeah, it was like you said, it was a good opportunity. We were hoping to open, and we were hoping to open, and then all of a sudden they nailed us. February, we're still not going to open. We're still not going to open for a while.
Yeah.
And I didn't have as healthy of a Zoom program as you do. It was sort of not like it was not
Mine
picking up.
still
It
needs
wasn't
work.
getting it. Yeah. Well, I was finding it hard to
Yeah.
sort of justify all the time I spent with everything, and just, and so I said, okay, this is one of those sort of, you make a decision.
Yeah.
It's not a decision that's gonna be best for everybody, but you make a decision. And the people that were on Zoom, maybe they weren't exactly 100% happy. But I expressed why I was doing it, and I'd given them a month warning. But
Yeah.
but I said, I this is the last month. It's just not, my time is not worth working out right now with this.
Right.
And I sort of read on a friend's IG post, ironically enough,
Yeah.
it's okay to just, like, you don't have to let anyone know. You disappear, you do your thing. You disappear and you do your thing. It was said
Absolutely.
a little bit more eloquently than that, but
I hear
I
you.
just remember thinking, all right, now is the time. I don't need to make an announcement. I don't need to say anything. Because social media, I use social media as my way of marketing and as my way of promoting my brand.
As most of us
Instead of
do.
having
Yeah. It's a great way.
instead of having a, so it's not so much of a social, like I'm trying to, like, think I'm trying to make sure I'm marketing my brand. But I said, okay, a decision has to be made. I got off of social media. I said, I don't think I'm gonna gain much traction anyways if I'm on social media at the same rate, because no one can come to the gym. It's so too cold outside for any outdoor workout. My Zoom program isn't really popping. This is it. I
Yeah.
was about 25, 30 pounds more than I was the year before.
Mm.
And definitely my, body. So I started to do YouTube. I started to do YouTube workouts,
Okay.
and I created like 30 or 40 YouTube videos. And one day I'm sitting down, I'm editing it, and I'm seeing how I'm like trying to hide myself. I don't have the YouTube body, and I felt ashamed, and I felt like, if I'm gonna be on YouTube, I can't be like that. Nobody's gonna wanna like follow this guy who looks like that on YouTube, right? And so
Mm.
that was one of the things that kind of like, boom, all right, in order for me to make money, and promote my brand, I have to change. And so I stopped everything I'm doing. I said, I got to take a month off, and I just started to train. I had a bunch of courses I was on the go, a yoga course, a nutrition course, and a pregnancy course. And I said,
Ah,
and some books that I was, that I was reading, some audiobooks. And when you're on social media, you just don't have time for all of that. And
no.
I went ham on those things. Did not go on social media. Every now and then I'll check to see if I have messages, but I did
Yeah.
not check my feed or nothing like that. And you know, before, when I decided not to, it was like, like, I hope I don't lose momentum. and everything like that. And then when I came back, I think about 4 or 5 or 6 weeks later, it just everything just changed. I changed the name of my personal YouTube, Instagram, and everything like that, and I just felt like I had so much more value to offer. I'll never forget that time. I'll never forget how important that time was to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, like I said, it was interesting because I was like, where did he go? And then when you would come back and explained everything and you had posted and you made some really interesting points as you were telling your story. And I think we are all quite guilty of getting wrapped up in, how we are perceived on social media. And like you said, you didn't have the YouTube body. And I think with fitness, working in fitness, you do want to have your personal level of health and fitness at a certain level, especially when you are, you know, catering to a world where there is a certain image of fitness and wellness, right? And you want to make sure that you are, you're at your healthiest, and really a reflection of your brand is what I'm trying to get at. And I could totally understand that, and wanting to sort of have this image of your brand as being what it is that you are promoting, which is health and wellness, and making sure that you're prioritizing those things. And it's great that you took that time, you took that month off. You said, you know what, screw social media. I need to work on myself. I need to come within and do what I need to do to get things right here. And I'm sure, I mean, even the vibe that I was getting from you and from your posts, you came back better than ever. I saw all these like great meal ideas, and these great workouts for you. Like you just came back and you just seemed like rejuvenated and refreshed and feeling really, really great about yourself. And yeah, and you're leading by example. You led by example for this, because I think, and like I was saying before, fitness trainers or people in the health and wellness profession can sometimes be the most unhealthy. And I think it's because we prioritize other people's health
That's right.
before we have a chance to prioritize our own, because we're like, wanting to really push our brand and get that client retention. And then when we have a second to breathe, we're just like, uh, I
Yeah, what
feel
happened? What
I
happened?
feel not so great. And maybe it's not about like how you look, and maybe it's just about
That's
that
right.
overall
That's right.
energy. Maybe it's
That's
that
right.
overall energy too, right?
Yeah,
So
great point.
yeah, it's just like just
It
an
wasn't really about
exceptional
how I
way.
looked. I love that you said that, because it wasn't how I looked. Okay, fine, yes, but if I
Yeah.
looked that way and I ate healthy and I trained and I did, I slept right and everything, and that's the way I look, I would be totally like, this is me,
Yeah.
right? But I knew that I looked the way I did because I wasn't eating properly, and because I
Mm.
wasn't training, and because I wasn't sleeping right. And so I love that you said that point, because it wasn't, I know I made the point that it was how I looked, but it
Yeah.
wasn't about how I looked.
Yeah. And I mean, how you look is sometimes can be a reflection of what's going on inside, can be.
Right.
And so I think it's really easy because that's like the first thing you see is the outside
Yeah.
stuff, right? So
Yeah.
it's really easy to be like, oh, I look like this, therefore I'm unhealthy. But it doesn't always mean that way. Like you said, like you
No.
can be doing all the right things, but like genetics and biology
Yeah.
or hormone levels can have a
Yeah.
lot to do with that piece. But the fact that you were just like, I'm not doing X, Y, and Z correct, and it's great that you brought about, the fact of like getting proper sleep in and food and movement. They're all very, very integral to being a part of well-being. Because yeah, we have these like extreme focuses on like nutrition and movement, but like what about everything in between, like your sleep, your hydration, your
Yeah.
stress management, and all these other things that can really affect your overall health. So yeah, I just want to say to you, I really, really admire the fact that you took that time for yourself. And I'm sure your family was really appreciative of that. How was that for your wife? Was she just like,
That was cool. Yeah. It
whoa,
was, it was a little
I've never
different for
seen
them
you
not
take
to
this
see
much
me
time
like this.
off?
I know. I'm not like this the whole time. Like I'm just I'm reading a book, or I'm just like, all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a cool time. That was a good time. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget how important that is. And if ever I need to do it again, I know that it was worth it.
Yeah, good. And have you uh, sort of approached your life now in a way, like after kind of going through that month, are you sort of prioritizing more of what you got from that month and, you know, really sprinkling it into your everyday just so that you're able to maintain the lifestyle that you created for yourself within that month?
Yeah, for sure. No, you're right. Especially
Yeah.
when it comes to nutrition and hormones. You brought up hormones.
Yeah.
Um, and sort of like, so I changed my name from 40 Fit Dad, which is
Yeah.
really just based on, a 40-year-old dad trying to be fit, 40 Fit
Yeah.
Dad, to where I now changed it to what I felt like really like encapsulated my new approach, which is guts and mobility. And it
Love
was
it.
not about fitness, like strong man, like, I'm gonna like strong my way into this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily about eating or eating, even eating right wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Um, it was about mobility, which I felt like is really the key to longevity. And you brought it up a few times about how you're approaching your business, where movement and different things, strength is part of it.
Yeah.
It's not part of strength, but strength is part of it.
Yeah.
As well as just like moving around. So mobility, I was like, okay, now I'm more about mobility now as opposed to just like
Yeah, you're getting like
working out.
deeper. You're sort of like, you
Yeah,
know, taking those layers off and kind of getting deeper into your purpose.
that's right. And then with the guts, that was a
Yeah.
huge thing for me because it was like not just about eating, but man, I fell in love with the guts and the digestive system and what's going on with the things that we eat,
Yeah.
and sort of how we've been fed just the nutrition side of it, and then when it comes to the guts, and I fell in love with like how you could change your body if you understand what's going on in your guts.
Yeah. And also, I interpreted the guts part as like you
I know where
having
you're
a
getting
lot of,
to.
yeah, like you
Yeah,
having a lot of guts to like take that month off as a business owner, new in their business, and just to like take that time for yourself and revamp and refuel. So yeah, I kind of like define that
that's
in my
that's a
own
huge
way.
part of it. I don't ever bring it up because that's almost the obvious thing. Just like I
Yeah.
never ever bring up like I never play the Rocky song, or I never like reference Rocky because that's the
Yeah.
obvious thing.
Yeah.
But that was also like I was like, yes, this is perfect because you got to have the guts to be able to do these things. And so you're right. That played
Yeah.
a definite role in sort of who I was becoming.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So before we end off, I have a couple questions for you, a little bit of a
Sure.
lightning round. So,
Let's
really,
do
what I do is that I take some related questions and seemingly unrelated questions. I ask you the question. I'm looking for like maximum a sentence response.
All right.
One of them you pretty much answered, but maybe we'll delve a little deeper into it. So, the first question is, I've heard a lot of parents, I'm not a parent myself yet, but I've heard a lot of parents talk about trying to keep their kids consistently entertained and, you know, active, especially during this time, especially during this pandemic. What have you and your wife done to keep the little ones busy?
We gave into technology. We gave into the tablet. We gave into the
Oh
tablet.
my God. What an
There's
honest,
three
thank
and
you.
four. We just said, okay, gotta do it. So
Oh my God. I love it. Thank you for the
yeah,
honesty.
yeah, for sure. It sucks sometimes, but yeah,
Yeah, good, 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 good to hear. And I'm sure a lot of parents out there are just like, yes, you know, I'm not the only one. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. There's a really funny meme out there that's like, because sometimes you want to punish your kids by saying, okay, no tablet for you, and then there's this funny meme that's like, all right, mom, no tablet for me. What are you gonna do? Entertain me? And so that's really the point. Like we can't take away the tablet from them. Like we want to punish them, but
Yeah.
that punishes us. Punishing us.
Oh, looking forward to parenthood. Yeah.
Yeah, right,
All right.
exactly.
Okay. Choose, if you had to choose in between these two,
All right.
what would sort of be like your preference or your favorite? An outdoor workout or a workout in a gym or at your facility?
An outdoor workout.
Yeah,
That's how we were born. That's how we were made.
love it. Yeah, I totally agree. There's something about just being in the outdoors and being sort of connected with nature and breathing in the fresh air that there's like a feeling like no other. And
That's
especially in
right.
Canada where we have 3 seconds of good weather, I'm taking
That's
advantage
right.
of that.
That's right. You see, at the last stay-home order, it's now been 37 or 38 days of the stay-home order, and 35 of those days I've done outdoor workouts every single morning.
Yeah, I've seen you on the
And
track.
so, yeah, so that I love going out there no matter what. Even if I have
Awesome.
a gym, I go out there every single day.
Awesome. Okay, last question, and we sort of touched upon this, but I'd kind of like to hear your take. So, true or false, fitness professionals or wellness professionals are some of the most burnt out individuals, and why do you think that?
Um, I, I don't think that is the
Okay,
case. I think it's the ambitious ones are. If you're ambitious,
yeah,
I think that then that becomes then you become the burnt out ones. But I think in general, I don't find that the majority of the case.
okay,
I think if I think about all of if I think about the couple places I've worked at in the industry, I
yes,
would say one out of five of them was legitimately burnt out,
okay,
and then the other four, they were looking for jobs. They were hoping to get busy. They didn't have enough clients, or there wasn't enough hours at that facility or whatever.
right, right.
My
Yeah, I
personal experience. This
no,
is just a
that's
year and change.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, no, that's great, and that's why I want to hear different perspectives and different life experiences. I think I speak personally for myself, where it's like you can teeter a fine line, especially I think like just entrepreneurship in general.
Right.
If
You will be burnt out for sure because you're very ambitious. And that's what I mean. Like the ambitious ones that are like trying to do something more than
yeah,
just sort of go into work and come out of work
yeah.
will for
I
sure be burnt out.
I'm trying, yeah, like I'm trying my best, and it is a struggle. And I'll be very honest, it's a struggle to not want to just be like doing something or like working on my business. But I think what just brings me back to like within and inside my body is just like I don't want to burn out. I don't want to
Yeah.
get to a
Good.
point where and I just keep rationalizing to myself. I don't want to get to a point where I feel like I can't do what I love because my body is so run down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I think the reality is that as an entrepreneur, as a fitness professional, it can be easy to burn out. You can teeter that fine line, but really, I think surrounding yourself like people like yourself or other fitness professionals or entrepreneurs that are finding ways not to burn out and trying to, yes, do what they love and do what they're passionate about, but do it at a pace that is sort of more realistic. And yes, you're still making some sacrifices, but it's not for the betterment of, or it's not for the detriment, sorry, of like your own well-being and breaking down so often. I think you can make it work. I think it's hard, and I think like your little hiatus, your 1 month hiatus kind of made that like really, really profound thought to me. It's just like, it's okay. It's okay for you to like take time off. Nobody's going anywhere. And I have this fear too, where it's like, if I'm
At
not that
all.
active, like, am I going to lose the momentum? And yeah, I think when you just sort of let those voices simmer down and quiet a little bit and think like, no, I've got to do this for myself, and I've got to do this for my business. So if I'm
Yes.
not leading by that example, especially in the fitness world, right? If you're not taking care of yourself, then what kind of example are you setting for your clients?
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. And even in the social media part of it, um, just as you know, even if you're making content every day, and this part's so annoying sometimes, but people forget your content by the evening. They watch it in the morning, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously sometimes they don't even watch it. They just know that it's you, and they might like it or they might not. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And that's it. They're forgotten
Yeah.
in their heads. And so when you take that height, you know what I had to kind of like, all right, I had to be okay with this and remind myself, you take that hiatus off as well. All right, they're like, where'd they go? And then when you come back, even if it's a year, they forgot that you took that, they forgot that, like, sort of
Yeah.
you took that hiatus. And even it works that way as well, where the short-term memory is also applies to when you leave for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody
And
noticed. Nobody noticed, as I
yeah,
say, I
no,
think.
and those that are going to be like your ride or dies, those who have been there for day one are still going to be there, and they're going to appreciate it even more because they're seeing, okay, Rocky is, like I said, leading by example. If I need to take time off, I don't need to push myself to get to my goal. I need to like let the process happen. If I need to take some time off, it's because it's for the betterment of me and my overall well-being and the longevity of my life.
That's right.
So yeah, I can't say enough how much I admire and really value, your time off and the perspective that is sort of switched for you and how you sort of changed even something as like your Instagram name to better reflect where you're at in your business and in your life. So yeah,
Thanks so much, Brittany.
I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you so much for coming on and making the time to chat with me. Yeah.
You're welcome. I was so happy to.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of like a last minute request. I was just like, you know what, I got to have Rocky on, and so many things were
I
happening. I was
love
like,
it.
let's see if he's available.
I love it. Yeah, yeah, I love it. I was definitely gonna make time. I'm so happy
Awesome,
to be
awesome.
here.
Okay, well, before we sign off, where can everybody find you?
Sure. So basically on Instagram, that's the only social media that I'm really on.
Good.
Got some mobility and 925 Wellbeing. And then we're out here in Mississauga, close to, Highway 41 in Mavis. And so we're either here in person or you find us on Instagram at those two handles, Guts and Mobility and 925 Wellbeing.
Great. Okay, Rocky. Well, I am hoping that I will see you soon in person. Again,
Yes,
I'm looking forward to the many, many collaborations
yes,
that we're going to be doing together. I just feel like we vibe so well,
I
and
think
we're
so.
both wanting to go towards a common goal. And what better way to do that than as a community? So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you again so much, and
You're
have a
welcome.
great rest of your night.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you so much for having me on it.
No problem. Talk to you soon.
Okay. We'll talk soon. Okay. Bye.
Bye.